Hi guys. So I am on my excuse me. Oh my goodness. So I'm on to my next video for today. And in this one I wanted to talk about that horrifying case in New York involving an inmate at the Marcy Correctional Facility in New York. It's a prison in, I'm assuming, upstate New York somewhere. Correct me if I'm wrong. And there was this inmate. His name is Robert Brooks. Have you guys heard about him? Because I haven't heard any of the YouTubers talking about it. None of the top ones that I watch who cover all of the sort of big news, um, news bites, news breaks, whatever. I haven't heard any of them covering it. But 3 days ago, approximately, I saw on the New York Post this story. There was a video, and this guy, he's 43 years old, and he was in prison in the Marcy Correctional Facility, and his name was Robert Brooks. And there were these three security guards, not security guards, they are, what do you call them? They are correctional officers in the prison, and they were videotaped literally killing the inmate. So they beat him to death. Literally, they pounded him, kicked him, choked him, asphyxiated him, stripped him down to his underwear when they were done beating him up. And I think the video was released by Letitia James, who is the New York district attorney, I want to say. I never quite know what her position is, but she released this videotape around Christmas time. And, she says she's very horrified, and she'll be investigating this case further. I believe the correctional officers have all been fired without pay, I think, and about 13 other of their colleagues or staff members were suspended without pay. And it was really, really, in my view, one of the worst things I have ever witnessed in my life, in terms of anything, really. I mean, I literally witnessed people in law enforcement like killing a guy in jail. This guy was handcuffed, he was restrained, hands behind his back, and you have these three big, these are big guys. They they're not vegetarians. They eat meat and burgers, and you know, they are like scary, and they just continued to beat and beat and beat and punch and punch and punch and kick and kick and kick and choke and choke and choke until the guy died, you guys. And I haven't heard anybody talking about this on social media. I mean, it's true that I'm not on Twitter, and I'm not on TikTok, I'm not on Instagram. I'm only on YouTube at the moment. And I tried Blue Sky, but I think I only have 4 people following me on Blue Sky. So I'm almost kind of given up on that. We'll see how it goes. But all of the big YouTubers who track news, I mean, for example, I have like about 3 or 4 different YouTubers that I follow for stuff like this. And they are like heavy into the Luigi Mangione case. They are really talking about his due process rights. And, Luigi Mangione, he's the guy who allegedly shot the CEO of United Healthcare in the back in New York just before Christmas. And since then, there has been this outpouring of public support for him. People have raised more than $200,000 US dollars for his legal defense. People are basically marching free Luigi. They're talking about nullifying the jury, even though he's on videotape, allegedly shooting a man to death, a total stranger who had done him nothing personally. Apparently, he did it for society at large, and that is sort of why society at large seems to have his back. Um, so, yeah, I mean, for me, this is a case that is very, very complex. I mean, I'm still trying to sort through what do I think about this case, the Luigi Mangione case, because for me, it's important that the same rules are applied in similar circumstances, or in the same circumstances, I should say. And so, if someone who was not as beautiful, because Luigi Mangione, he's a very beautiful human being, in physically, he's very attractive, and I just wonder whether if he were not, what if it were me? If I did that, right? Because I felt like the insurance companies, didn't pay for my dad or, whatever, like whatever my beef is with the insurance companies, that they are horrible and arguably, well, I'm not even going to say that because I don't really have any personal experience with that, but I've heard stories about how horrible they are. I know with my own father, who recently died, I mean, he had a lot of things going on, and he had very good insurance. So when he would tell me the prices of procedures that he had to have, which were paid by the insurance companies, I was like, I was just speechless. There was nothing I could say, really. Um, some of this stuff cost more than the mortgage on my parents' house, right? So there's that. Where I'm coming from is that's my experience. At the same time, I understand that my experience with insurance is not everybody else's experience. I've been very lucky in the sense that so far in my life, I haven't really had a need for like a lot of insurance assistance, if that makes sense. Um, I've been very lucky. I've taken care of myself, and the gods were kind, and so I don't know. But I understand that there are a lot of people who have been screwed by insurance companies, right? And people, many people in America don't have insurance coverage. When and if I go back, I won't have either because I don't have a job, I don't have money. God, and now I'm old. Now I'm old, right? So now I'll probably need it. And so I don't know how that will work. But um, so that's just to give you the background of like, I really don't know of the insurance companies that Mangione seems to know about, and a lot of people in American society who've had personal experiences with insurance companies not paying, for when they would ask to have something paid for, right? There's probably a word for that. So with all due respect to that, I understand that, but at the same time, I don't think if I did that, right, the same exact scenario, I put my clothes on, I put my hoodie, and I pack my heat, and I follow this guy to his hotel, and I pop it in his bag. I don't think anybody would be raising money for me right now, to defend me. I just don't think so. No one at all. I think I would be called some choice names, as a matter of fact. I think if it was somebody named, say, Mohammed, who did the same thing because his dad or his mom was denied coverage by an insurance company, and he went and he did the same exact thing, I don't think people would be reacting in this way. I think that no one would raise money for him, and I think they would charge him with terrorism if his name was Mohammed. Now, speaking of the terrorism bit, I would not have agreed with the terrorism charge if it were Muhammad in this set of facts, right? But because we live in a society where if your name is Muhammad and you commit certain types of crimes, especially using firearms, you're probably going to get a terrorism charge slapped on you. I'm just saying. Now, ironically, with Luigi Mangione, I don't understand why he's been charged with terrorism because I really don't think this has anything to do with terrorism, right? So I don't agree with the terrorism charge. But at the same time, I'm not at the same place where everybody else is, where, oh, he's the second coming of Jesus Christ because he did this for us, because we can't get insurance coverage and the insurance companies are this, that, and the next. I mean, what I see here is that someone was displeased with a certain system or company or whatever, and they took the law into their own hands and they took someone's life. And he didn't even know this man. I mean, this man, this individual, Brian Thompson, and I'm supposed to be the defense attorney, right? Where did that all go? I understand that, but I'm just saying, look, if I were a lawyer handling this case, I would handle the case, right? I would find a way. I mean, it would be the insanity defense. I would defend my client zealously according to my duties as an officer of the court, as an attorney sworn to, defend my client. But I'm not the attorney in this case, and even though I tend to more quickly align with the defense in certain cases, in this particular case, I'm very uncomfortable with a lot of elements of the case. I can't lie about that. I don't think that it would have been treated, or Luigi Mangione, if he were Mohammed, if he were me, if he were like a Diddy or somebody who looked like Diddy, if he was even a Pedro Gonzalez, that he would be sort of um, hero worshipped in this way, right? And so there's that. At the same time, I mean, if this young man has mental problems, okay, I can work with that, right? But if he just decided to go shoot somebody, wait, if what does it say to the society, and what message would it send if we render him sane, he's not crazy, right? And then we, as a society, let him loose, right? Because insurance companies are bad, and then 3 months later, a guy named Mohammed does the same exact thing. Maybe he doesn't sue an insurance exec, but he might sue, somebody else who he feels has offended his sensibilities as a man in the society in which he lives, right? Do we throw him in prison for the rest of his life, or for 18 years, or whatever it is? Or do we set a precedent with Luigi Mangione that if you are displeased with something as someone in society, take a gun and go shoot someone in the back? And where does that stop? Because, okay, today it's a CEO. It's okay to shoot him because he didn't like what he stood for. So now tomorrow it's a celebrity, or the next day it's a doctor, or the other day it's a teacher. I mean, everyone has a reason for being displeased. I mean, I have my reasons for being very displeased about a lot of things in society, but I don't agree that we just have carte blanche to do something like that unless we are not well, which is a different thing, right? Which, as a defense attorney, if I were in that position, I would deal with. Yes, I do agree that he's entitled to a fair trial. I do agree that there's a presumption of innocence, so everything is alleged. But if all of these allegations are true, I'm really like, I have a big problem with this case, you guys. Um, and then, so I just wanted to say that, within the context of Mr. Brooks, the guy in New York, Robert Brooks, and P. Diddy, and these types of people, Diddy's in prison for a similar reason to Mr. Brooks, is that Mr. Brooks was in prison for assaulting his girlfriend, apparently and allegedly. And I think he was serving 12 years in prison. So obviously something must have happened that sort of brought him to this room, this medical room, or wherever they had this man, these three burly correction officers. And then they proceed to literally kill him. They literally just killed him. And so I said, my God, I mean, is that what could happen to Diddy? I mean, look, what Diddy did to Cassie, as I said, is indefensible. It's wrong. There should be consequences. He paid her $30 million. I mean, if he spent, a year or so in prison for it, on top of that, I'm not going to cry foul. But I have never really been very persuaded that the other charges are very convincing. They seem very sort of bare bones, like nothing burgers to me. But what really troubled me and continues to trouble me the most about the Diddy case is the total lack of respect for the principle of the presumption of innocence. Um, the same people who are up in arms about Luigi Mangioni's presumption of innocence are literally saying that Diddy is guilty before there is any investigation, trial, anything. The very same people. And it's not about it being a racist thing because most of them are black. Most of them are black people saying that Diddy is guilty. These same people are completely silent about Luigi Mangione, or they are defending his right to the presumption of innocence and to a fair trial, which is completely bonkers to me. Um, but that all said, so there's all that, but I just wonder why nobody has picked up on this case. This man is 43 years old, serving 12 years in prison for assault. I don't even know if that was a fair sentence or not because I don't really know what the sentencing guidelines are for things like that. I would have to look it up, and I don't want to do that. But I just wonder why none of the like Don Lemon. I went over to Don. I'm looking. I guess it's just not his area. But I mean, this was so disturbing. There's this videotape that I saw of what they did to that man, and I know you could remember the man in 2020 that everybody went crazy about, but for the life of me, right now, his name escapes me. Can you believe that? Um, but it was the biggest case ever of police brutality. Was it in Minnesota or one of those places? Oh my gosh, what is his name? You know his name, but that comes to mind here. And it just seems to me that it's always a situation where when things like this happen, it's always a black person who this happens to. I mean, in other words, I don't think something like this would happen to someone like Luigi Mangione. It doesn't matter what he's in jail for. I mean, Luigi Mangione literally killed a guy. Literally. Like, the man is no more. This is a husband, a father. He's no more, right? He didn't even know Luigi Mangione, apparently, right? And people want him just out, back into the streets, right? Diddy, he beat up his girlfriend. Not very nice. Um, but she's fine. She got $30 million, so she's living well. I think she's got financial security. She's got a beautiful marriage, two beautiful children. So whatever he did to her was terrible, but it didn't seem to have a lasting impact on her life. She's not dead, right? She's alive. She's rich. She's living the life, right? Still, people want Diddy thrown in prison and throw away the key. The same people, most of them are black, okay, want Luigi Mangione to be respected for his right to a fair trial and the presumption of innocence until proven guilty. Um, I just wonder, like, I mean, how do we as a society justify this with a straight face, honestly? I mean, to me, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. And again, I'm not saying that Luigi Mangione is a bad person or that he shouldn't, have a fair trial and so on. I believe in those very fundamental and constitutional principles, but for everyone, for everyone. And with Mr. Robert Brooks in the Marcy Correctional Facility, to have something like this happen and to continue to happen is like, and it's always the same demographics at play, always, the black man, or God forbid, sometimes the black woman, like Sandra Blonde and Bland, and these types of cases. It just, you know, it just, I'm so glad I'm old, and I hope that when we die, that's it, and we don't have to come, because this place, Earth, is just hell. That's really it. That's all I have to say about it. It's just hell, and I hope that I don't ever have to come back into this because I can't even. I don't even know what else to say about it. I mean, have you heard about the Robert Brooks case? And what do you think about it in the context of just everything else that's going on in our world and in our judicial system and so on and so forth? I mean, what are your thoughts, if any? Let me know in the comments, okay? And listen, if you're not yet following the YouTube channel, that would be this one. I would appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button, share my videos, hit the notification bell so that you know when I have uploaded new videos. And what else do you have to do? Share the videos, leave a comment, thumbs up, that kind of good stuff. And yeah, see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.